Identity when you're hurt or exhausted. John the Baptizer realized that the people in his local area needed to do a spiritual reset. He invited people to take off the blindfold and get real with God. The Pharisees weren't happy. It just wasn't their style to always depend on God's Spirit in their ministry. It was easier for them to control their own ministry than to stop and ask God what He thought about it. Sadly, this was also keeping their followers from going to God for His thoughts. John brought these people hope in the form of revival. You might find yourself slipping into that same trap sometimes. You could be in survival mode when you long to be in revival mode. You could become exhausted trying to fix things for other people. You might get caught up in things outside of what He's doing in you. You might wonder why you're not being blessed like someone else. The Bible calls Satan the accuser of the brethren. He often tempts us to believe little accusing thoughts so subtle that they make us question whether we're really pleasing God. When John baptized Jesus, the Father's voice announced that He was very pleased with Jesus. When we hear God's voice assuring us that He's very pleased with us too, we come out of survival mode. As He told John the Baptist, we let Jesus tell us. You need to be baptized? Here, let me do it for you to show you that I'm your righteousness. We know that He's the Holy One, but He says that it's us, so we exchange identities. When Jesus was hurt, He forgave. That's who He was. That's who we are now. When we hurt others, we ask for forgiveness. This has become who we are because of who He is. So these pages in the identity strategy are going to show you how to reset your identity whenever you feel like you need to earn God's approval. He wants you to notice that you feel this way during the times when you're holding back love because you're lacking. He wants you to realize when you're feeling burdened by the need to get things right for Him. That's not the operating mode that He's forming inside of you. When He looks at you, He sees a relaxed, joyful member of His bride resting in His love. All other operating modes are distortions of reality. He adores you. So this is the identity diagram. You can see John the Baptist. There's Jesus with the dove of the Holy Spirit, John the Baptist, friend of the bridegroom. And then here we have the viper victim. And the question in the middle is, who am I? Am I a friend of the bridegroom, or am I a victim of the viper? And that's the accuser of the brethren there. Okay, so I'm going to read this. When we're stuck in survival mode, we often try to soothe our identity, our insecurity, by reaching for a false identity. But we can ask Him to remind us that we are not truly a victim of the accuser, but a forgiven friend of Jesus. If we're in a wounded or sinful place, we can let Him immerse us, like the baptism here, with the flowing love of the Holy Spirit. We arise from this river perfect because of His resurrection. From this place, we have the confidence to let go of bitterness, hold good boundaries, and live peacefully with those around us. So the biblical references for this metaphor, being righteous agents of reconciliation, is in 2 Corinthians 5:17-21. The Pharisee vipers are in Matthew 3:1-12. Jesus calls them the vipers in this scene with John the Baptist. The scene is Matthew 3:13-17, where He's baptized. John is called the friend of the bridegroom in John 3:29. 2 Corinthians 11:2-3 mentions the bride of Christ and the snake. Galatians 5:14-18 talks about the biting, which we're going to talk about, this viper and the snake bite, and the two identities, which is kind of this opposition here. That's talked about a little bit in Galatians, although it doesn't, as I've said before in these videos, it doesn't present all of this in one place in the Bible. This is a metaphor that we are reading to kind of put together some different biblical passages into something that we can use to remember what we need to remember in these moments when we're insecure or stuck in survival mode. So this isn't all exactly the way the Bible teaches it all. The accuser of the brethren is Revelation 12, 9 to 11. Refusing bitterness, we're going to talk about that. It's in Ephesians 4, 31 and 32. And then we have the serpent and the dove here. And so the Bible talks about being wise as a serpent, but also like a dove. Matthew 10, 16. So here's the strategy that this is all leading up to. Okay, so basically we're going to take a check anytime you need to during the day to avoid being in this identity. If you feel like you're kind of in this operating mode and you'd rather be here in freedom, here's your strategy. When we lose God's perspective, we fall into the trap of designing our own rightness. Our healthy need to earn a living and care for others can cause us to slip into survival mode. We start overlooking God's little joys in the present moment, just trying to get through the day. But this doesn't have to trap us. We can use the identity strategy to take off the blindfold and see how our survival mode is affecting those around us. Step 1 is, if the present moment doesn't feel like a gift from God, though the gift may be a challenge, it's time to pause. Stop all activity for a minute and be still. And if you need privacy, step into the restroom to gather your thoughts. Step 2, there's going to be 3 checks. Step 2 is take an identity check. Are you operating from your royal identity as a child of the King? Are you forgiving others and receiving people's forgiveness? Are you calling on God when you're tempted to think critically about others? Is your work centered on serving people with financial provision following as a result of helping them? So that's your identity check. The next check is step 3, take an attitude check. Does your work feel like a privilege from God or just a burden you're expected to carry? Are you asking Him for something special in each moment of your day so you can enjoy life to the fullest? When He prunes sin from your life, does it feel like an intimate privilege that comes with spiritual success? And then the next check is the activity check, step 4. Are your actions coming from overflowing love, joy, and peace? Is your prayer life fresh, even if you're in a winter season of pruning away fruitless activity? Are you tired of empty obligations and ready to release activities or mindsets that drain your energy? So between those 3 checks, you are basically trying to understand and come to God to unburden, to unpack, to lay things that might be weighing you down, causing you to depend on your own willpower, and let them be washed away in that river of His love. So talk with Him, step 5. Talk with Him about all of this. Ask Him what He's offering you right now as His friend, as His beloved child. His right thoughts are a powerful exchange for your survival mode. Scan your soul for any lingering venom of the enemy's accusations aimed at your identity. Reset your operating mode from desperately surviving to the one with whom God is very pleased. And ask Him for the grace to repeat this 5-step reset whenever you need it. Even multiple times a day, This delights Him. So then we have a few more pages talking about if you've been bitten by a viper, if you've been wounded, how to respond as someone loved by God. So just now we talked about what to do if the accuser of the brethren is giving you messages about being inadequate, being insecure, all that stuff. But if it's coming from a place where somebody needs your forgiveness or you need their forgiveness, we have 2 more pages in the download after the section that I just read about forgiving when you're wounded or make an apology when you're guilty. So it's basic stuff, but it also has a page about what if the relationship doesn't improve. So before you say, okay, this person's being narcissistic or I'm stuck in this situation, God's not delivering me even though I'm trusting him, all those things, there's a whole page about what you actually need to ask yourself, and then what to do after you've done everything you can. So we do also have a page in the purpose strategy video talking about where to get professional help after we've gone through all of those things. So definitely get in touch with me if you have any trouble with any of these things. I think they will be really useful for you. Okay, so the link to download this PDF is in the Files tab of the Facebook group. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, it's in the description or in the course.